Here are two different arrows, two different zombies, right? They are very similar, but they aren't the same. This zombie, boy, these are good ones, right? 563, 560 or so total grain weight. Really had a good run with these. And for my, the old Bunjinator, heavier arrow like this really works well. And we've had good success with these, killed a lot of deer. They originated as these. They are a heavier version of the zombies made by Wyvern Creations, and they've got heavier inserts in them, that sort of thing. I use a 150 grainer on the end, of course, in the Burnt Coyote Luminok, bringing it up to about 560 grains or so. Blazer vanes. I replaced these blazer vanes, though, with colored ones because I wanted to be able to, you know, just make it match the logo. But they come with, from Wyvern Creations, right? Definitely friends of Bungie, that's for sure. Dave at Wyvern Creations is definitely a friend of Bungie, and he's appeared on Death by Bungie before in the podcast and in our Broken Limbs video series. So he's got a history with Death by Bungie going way back. But these zombies, the same shaft, everything, 150 grainer, Burnt Coyote Luminok, of course, still has the blazer vanes, but these are helical. They come with a helical design for the slower crossbows. If you're using an older, slower crossbow, like the OB here, the original Bungie, will back up to get it in frame, right? But this old, slow crossbow, 305 out of the factory, that is something that calls out for heavier arrows in order to get some more momentum, right? Gets a little more energy at impact, so you can get those pass-throughs that we deserve as crossbow hunters, 100%. So the OB and I are always in search for the perfect arrow. These zombies have worked just fine. However, I just did a video you just saw where I pulled out the Luminok and I dropped a 75 grain weight down in here, right? And I screwed that tight with that long Allen wrench that I did the video, that I showed you in that video. And now these things, when I put it all back together, how much do they weigh? Throw this on the scale. Kaboom. Come on, balance. Balance. 639.5, 639 and a half grains. Pretty cool. This is a pretty heavy arrow, and you can really feel it, right? You can really feel how heavy it is. In fact, I'll try and balance it just to give you guys who care about FOC. I don't really care about FOC because it's kind of all the same to me, but the weight is what I'm more concerned about. But this is where this arrow balances. What's these ones do? I mean, we can measure it, but it's probably a little more. Like, there's probably more front of center on this guy, right? The other thing that's a difference here, of course, is the helical design. So distance-wise, this arrow should recover faster. Helical, out of the more modern crossbows, you guys shooting 400 feet per second or so, we don't need the helical, right? It doesn't do you any good. It slows down the arrow. The arrows recover pretty fast anyway because they're spinning kind of fast, because they're moving kind of fast. This arrow is going to be traveling around 250 feet per second, I'm guessing. And at that speed, this arrow is going to need all the help it can get to get that spin going, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to shoot these two arrows, right? And we're going to measure the difference in point of impact, because a heavier arrow is going to drop a little bit more, and we're going to see. Maybe the helical at 20 yards can recover enough that we don't get too much of a drop. Maybe it'll be the same 20-yard setting, I don't know. But we're going to play around with that. We're also going to shoot it through the chrono and see how fast these new heavy guys travel. I don't need to shoot the 563 grainer through the chronograph, because we did that at Friend of Bungie Gyms. What number did we come up with?
I just want to do real speeds on mine. Just for
Ready? 260. Yes.
That's a record.
Oh yeah, at the get together, that was another video here. You should go watch that video. But in that video, 260 feet per second with this arrow. So we know how fast this one shoots. I've clocked them somewhere between 260 and 263 with that weight. Two of the first kind and two of the other kind. Just going to set those there. I'm going to shoot them one right after the other, and we're going to go down there and measure the difference in the point of impact and see if there's any considerable amount. See what that considerable amount is. Original zombie. We'll do the top row with the original zombies. Alright. We are going to be shooting the bottom row with the heavier dudes. They do drop. So we can manhandle it here. Alright, let's go see what we did. The Bunjinator, the OB, Bunjie. Let's go for a walk here and see what we got. My shooting is awful, and I'm realizing what a bad shot I am. But I'm aiming at those black dots, and I'm sighted in for these zombies. Now, it may not be these exact zombies. That's a problem, too, right? I don't know what numbers they are, and I haven't necessarily spine indexed them or anything like that. But I'm hitting kind of the black dot there and kind of the black dot there. Here, I'm definitely low, right? So there's definitely a drop. All right, we'll turn that on. End of the day, we have picked up the 60-yard backyard. All of the targets have been put away. The weekend is coming to a close. We have to go to work tomorrow. We're going to find out about the OB and its new heavier arrows. However, before we go back to work, we are going to put this down here. Kaboom, kaboom. We are going to cock this beautiful crossbow. Put it on safe. Put the cocking rope back in the pocket, because that's what we do. That is our habits, routines, and practices. The 637 grainer, right? Luminoc is already lit because I've been playing around with it. Put this in here. We're going to load that arrow's length from the, kind of eyeballing it here, arrow's length from the chronograph. That's about right. And kaboom, 249. 249. That is one slow, old crossbow. However, I think at that weight, that puts us into 0.7 slugs of momentum. Oh yeah. So here is what this means. It means, and you can see our shooting tent up here. Got the tent up so we can shoot from the outside. Such a nice day. Man, you can't beat it. So what this means is you do have to sight in differently for the heavier arrows. So I kind of have to decide whether I'm sticking with the kind of heavy or the real heavy. That's okay. This is not my primary hunting crossbow anymore. Bunjie is just along for the ride to enjoy it, to watch what happens and live those adventures in his golden years. And that's okay. That's okay. But those heavier arrows, if Bunjie and I want to kill a bear together, they might come in handy on a big old 500-pounder up in Manitoba. What do you think? These are definitely arrows that get me a semi-modern amount of penetration, right? 0.7 slugs of momentum. That is a heck of a group to join. And Bunjie finally reaches that, right? At whopping speeds. So it is what it is. But nonetheless, pretty exciting stuff. I realize that this is not necessarily relevant to modern crossbow hunters, but I still think it's pretty cool stuff. Let me know your thoughts. Until next time, all hail Bunjie.